Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the April 2022 reading for the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. As always, my readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you any intuitive messages I receive, as well as the meaning of the tarot cards. I do, however, recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. That helps me very, very greatly. But also when you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post videos in the future, so it's a win-win for both of us. Also, but let's go and jump in. So in column number 1, we're going to take a look at what's wrapping up and coming to a close for you, so last few weeks or month. We're going to take a look at April in general. We're going to do a money column, a love column, and in our 5th and final column, we're going to do a message from our future self or spirit guides. We're also going to do 3 yes or no questions, a healing note, and a crystal of the month. But let's see, we're going to pull a summary card here. We have the card Revolution. So Sagittarius, you probably revolved and evolved in these last few weeks, but maybe you really kind of overthrew or changed the way you were doing something or thought of something. But let's see what messages we have coming through. Wand energy is pretty strong in this row. Wands are typically fire signs, and it's also very creative. But the first card we have is the 3 of Wands. The 3 of Wands is a card of expansion. It makes total sense if you've gone through this revolution that now your life in general, or your mindset, or your thought process has likely expanded as well. This could also be a card of travel, so some of you might have done some traveling in the last few weeks or month. The next card that we have is the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is a card of keeping and maintaining boundaries. If you take a look at this card, this person didn't really build a wall around themselves, but they did create kind of like a fence that's filtering things in. And again, those are those boundaries that you've set. That very well could have been part of your revolution too. Maybe there were times where you felt like you were kind of used or walked on, or people weren't appreciating you, and you do have new boundaries now. The next card that we have is the Strength card. The Strength card is a card of self-love, unconditional love, self-respect, and courage. All of those things I just said make total sense with Revolution. You're entering into this new chapter of better self-love, caring for yourself more, that unconditional love, and this new place of courage. Really, really neat last few weeks for you, Sagittarius, it looks like. Now let's take a look. Let's clarify this column and see what other messages I can provide you. So the first card that we have is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is a card of healing and being supported. I feel like you've been healing and have been supporting yourself, and that's what led to this kind of revolution transformation. It also led to this expansion. The healing that you've done has led you to this much greater, better place for yourself. One thing I love about the Queen of Cups is the cup in this picture is really different. It doesn't look like a cup at all. It's like a trophy, but that trophy is you, Sagittarius. So just remember that you are the trophy. The next card that we have is the 7 of Pentacles. The 7 of Pentacles is a card of patience or delayed success. So you see this person planted their pentacles and they're waiting for them to grow. So things the message I'm getting here is that it could have taken you a while to figure out what these boundaries were, to set these boundaries. You have them now, which is really wonderful, but it was a process to get to this point of where you're at, Sagittarius. And then last but not least, at the bottom we have the Tower card. There could have been some unwanted change that happened in the last few weeks. Maybe this whole revolution in general, that change, maybe it wasn't something you thought you wanted. Maybe it came about in a weird way. Maybe the event that triggered this revolution just wasn't what you were hoping for. But definitely, again, with the Strength card, took you to a much better place, to a place of self-love, unconditional love, courage, and strength. So the Tower card, even though it could be an unwanted change or maybe things don't play out exactly the way we want them to, it's always a change that's good for you. So now let's take a look at our next column, which is just in general, what's coming for us in April, we have the card ready but waiting. So there might be something that you like want to jump on, Sagittarius, get done, and you may be kind of in a waiting period going into April. But let's see what messages we have here. That spread looks pretty darn good. The first card that we have is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is very free-spirited and very creative. I've said I think twice creative twice, or maybe 3 times now to you. But like April's going to be really freeing for you. We'll clarify that and see if we can get more information there, but very creative and very free-spirited. The next card that we have is the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is a card of celebration. It can also be a card of circle of support. You see how these people are standing in a circle. But I do think there will be something pretty significant that you're going to be celebrating the month of April. The next card that we have is the Empress. The Empress is a card of creation. It's a card of abundance. It can also be a card of fertility or pregnancy. So for those of you hoping to grow your family or get pregnant, this is a really good card for you. But another, again, a card of creation, a card of abundance. Let's take a look though and clarify this column and see what messages we have. The next card that we have is the Knight of Pentacles. So we have back-to-back Knight cards here. The Knight of Pentacles, though, is a card of patience, so I'm not really surprised to see this given the ready but waiting card there at the top. But it's a card of like hardworking. So as you're patiently waiting for whatever this thing may be to happen, you need to continue to keep working hard on it and stay focused, even though it may not be happening as fast as you want. And nonetheless, it is going to still be very creative and very freeing for you. So don't give up on whatever this thing is that you're having to wait on. The next card that we have is the Ace of Wands. Anytime you have an Ace card, the Ace card is a card of newness. In the case of the Ace of Wands, it's like a new project, new inspiration or urge to create. Create is the message this month for you, Sagittarius. But whatever you're creating is going to be really successful and celebratory worthy. So that's super exciting. The next card that we have is the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of luxury, self-sufficiency, financial gain. So there's definitely going to be some financial gain created. You do have 2 abundant cards here. So the Empress is an abundant card, and the Nine of Pentacles is a card of abundance as well. So 2 very abundant cards paired together. But I feel like whatever this thing you're waiting for or working towards is coming with the newness and also will be financially beneficial for you. Now let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to money. So think money, job, career, finances, businesses you run, investments you have, anything we associate with money. The first card we have is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is another celebration card. We're going to clarify this and take a look at this a little bit further. But this is a card of celebration. The next card that we have is the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is a card of working very hard. This is mastering your craft, enjoying your employment, working harder, not smarter. Or excuse me, working smarter, not harder. But very much so hard work paying off. Possibly you could be getting promoted or be getting a raise due to your hard work. And that could be the celebration piece there. The next card that we have is the Temperance card. The Temperance card is a card of balance, harmony, which is good. It could be moderation as well too. But I feel like there's going to be a better work-life balance. There's going to be a better financial balance for you. Some of you have been working really long hours right now, or some of you have been low on money, and that's going to shift for you as well. Let's clarify this column though and see. At the top we have the Judgment card. The Judgment card is always favorable for you, Sagittarius. The Judgment card is going to be clarity, living your life's purpose. It could be a final decision too. But like on the note of being like on life's purpose, maybe this is a promotion or you're taking a job that's taking you a step closer. Whatever you're celebrating feels to be really connected to something that's fulfilling you, or like it's very feel good, if that makes sense. The next card that we have is the Hangman. The Hangman is very stagnant. It's quite literally like you're hanging there by your foot. You typically need more information. You're kind of just stuck. We had the Ready But Waiting card earlier too. What I'm getting from this is I feel like you've been working hard for a while, you've been proving yourself for a while, you've been working towards this new job or this new position or maybe even an entirely new career, and you've just felt kind of stuck. But again, Judgment is coming in your favor, and there is also a celebration card. So if you're feeling stagnant, hang in there and keep working hard, because it is definitely coming to fruition for you. The next card that we have is the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is very solid, very practical. It is another leadership card. So again, some of you could be going into a leadership role. It's also a good money card, a good investment card. Maybe your investments have been kind of up and down too, so there will be some kind of balance in your investments, less of that up and down roller coaster. But again, this is like much more balanced. You think balance, harmony, practical. You kind of get to get off the roller coaster, which is a really, really good feeling. Now, Sagittarius, let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to love. So think love, marriage, friendship, children, really anything that you associate with love. These two kind of jumped out together. I don't typically do that, but I'll give you those both this one time. The first card that we have is the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a card of self-imposed restrictions. It's a card of isolation. If you look at this person, they're blindfolded and their arms are bound down. So this person like looks helpless, but if you look around, there's a bunch of swords stuck in the ground, and this person can very easily like wiggle back and cut themselves free. So I do think some of you could be like limiting yourself in a relationship right now, or even if you're single, like, and you want to be in a relationship, but it's like, why haven't you had a relationship? Oh, well, I haven't tried, or I haven't like gone on a dating app, or I haven't gone out. So I feel like you're hindering yourself in some fashion as it relates to love. We're going to clarify that card though for you, Sagittarius, but just keep that in mind, that you're like keeping yourself or holding yourself back from something. The nice thing about the Eight of Swords is it's kind of like a warning card. So once I bring it to your attention, it's something you can look at and work through. The next card that we have is the Devil card. The Devil card is a card of greed, envy, materialism, obsession. So I would say like make sure that you are not obsessing over any one thing in a relationship. Make sure there's also balance in the relationship. I'm not sure why balance is coming through with this card too, but if you're in a relationship, make sure you do have that kind of fine give and take, that balance. This could be as like simple as like cooking dinner every night. Like if your partner's cooking dinner every night, make sure that you cook sometimes too. I know that seems really silly, but it's like make sure you're kind of like pulling your end or holding up your side of the relationship. Things feel a little lopsided at this exact moment, Sagittarius, so just be a little bit aware of that. For the next cards we had two come out together. Like I said, I don't typically do that, but you can have the both. They really wanted to come out. So we do have two more wand cards. Again, wands are fire signs typically and very creative. But the first card that we have is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is victory, recognition, award, success. So I do feel like you're like getting to a point in relationship where it is very successful. Some of you could be successfully single too. Like some people just don't want a relationship, and that is perfectly fine and healthy as well, Sagittarius. But even though there is some self-restriction here and possibly like some out of balance, it feels like things are going to end really strong at the end of the month on the love front. Again, I'm having a hard time putting a finger on that, but I will clarify that, of course, as we get to it. The other card that we have is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is very confident and very self-assured. Again, things are out of balance, so you might be having to reassure yourself some, but it's a good thing to be able to reassure yourself, whether, again, you're single or in a relationship. Self-reassurance is always a strong trait to have. But let's clarify these and see if I can give you a little bit more fine-tuned messages here. The first card that we have is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is like one of the best love cards you could possibly have. I love getting this card in the love column. This is like Knight in Shining Armor, Prince or Princess Charming. Very romantic, very proposal-like. If you're single and want to be in a relationship, this is a really great card, so make sure you're not limiting yourself again. Like if you're single and you want to be in a relationship, make sure you go out or join a dating app or like let your friends set you up with somebody, because there is a really wonderful relationship out there. If you're in an existing relationship, again, there is something that's kind of holding you back that you want to reflect on, but this is a healthy relationship. You're in a good relationship. Some of you could be getting like engaged or married as well. That's very much so a romantic proposal type card too. Then we have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords, I realize, looks a little gloomy, but it's actually a card I really, really like. So if you look, they're all facing away from us. Their heads are kind of hanging low, and there's a bunch of swords stuck in the boat. But with this card, this is a necessary transition. So it's like you're going through this transition that you need. It has something to do with this lack of balance and things being rebalanced. The Six of Swords is also a card of relocation or moving sometimes. So things could be out of balance because like maybe you're not living together or you're living in different cities. So some of you could be moving to help, I guess, like recreate that balance or find that balance. Then at the bottom we have the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is a card of low feelings. But a lot of times when I see this is like old feelings that need to be resolved, Sagittarius, so do keep that in mind. The Three of Swords is like almost pulling the sword out of your own heart and doing some healing. That could be that Eight of Swords that you're feeling, that kind of restriction that's preventing you from going to the next stage in the relationship. But do keep healing top of mind. Things will be very abundant and successful on the other side. And again, you're in this position where you can reassure yourself, or maybe that's not something you could have done before. But now let's take a look at our fifth and final column, which is a message from our future self or spirit guides. We have the card Revision. So likely, I like the saying like check and adjust, pivot, revision. Sometimes you need to revise the plan to get to where you want to go. But let's see what messages we have, Sagittarius, and see where we're going with this. Definitely something checking and adjusting here. The first card that we have is the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is typically a not very good relationship. And I'm not necessarily talking love life, but this could be family, friend, coworker, boss. So do keep that in mind. We're going to clarify that card, but from what I can tell, there is a relationship that's going to be ending for you in the month of April, because the next card that we have is the World card. The World card is a like completion of a lesson or a goal. Like the world has come full circle. Something is complete. I do see a relationship ending though with the Five of Swords and the World card. And this relationship has left you like tired. I feel like you just like fought for it for so long. The Four of Swords is that need to rest, need to retreat, need to renew, need to recover. I feel like this relationship was so draining that it's a good thing that we're revising and putting an end to it. But let's clarify here and see what additional messages I can give you. The first card that we have is the Star card. The Star card is a card of renewal. Glad to see this for you because we were just talking about the Four of Swords that you need to renew. But there is going to be hope, there's going to be inner clarity, and definitely some renewal. Some of you could be repairing a relationship and fixing it, but I feel like for the most of you, you'll be ending that relationship instead. The next card that we have is the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is typically a card of worry. Some of you, just plain and simple, are worried about ending this relationship. It could be a long-term friend. It could be a long-term coworker. So there's some worry about ending it. But again, overall, it feels like we do need to revise. We need to review. We need to decide. And then the Two of Wands is the decision card. So like I said, either you'll be making the decision to repair an old relationship, or you'll be making the decision to let a relationship go. Overall, things look really, really good though. We're going to move into our yes or no questions. We're going to use the Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck. If you don't have 3 questions in mind, you can pause the video and think of them really quick. But for question number 1, we had the 6 of Diamonds. This is the number 51 card. That's going to be a no. Question number 2 is the Jack of Hearts. This is the number 22 card. That is going to be a yes. And for question number 3, we have the 6 of Clubs. This is number 43 card. That is going to be a no. So you have no, yes, no, Sagittarius. This month, your crystals, we did pull a card from our Healing Stones deck. This is the crystal to keep with you for the month of April that will support you. You have Ruby. Ruby helps you with the joy of living. It's a very lusty crystal as well. It helps you stay spontaneous. Again, that joy of life. And it gives you momentum and passion. Last but not least, we are going to pull a card from our Healing Notes deck. And it says, life always offers you a second chance. It's called tomorrow. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, for tuning in, watching, and listening. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video resonates with you. Again, when you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post new videos, and also it helps me a lot when you subscribe. If you feel inclined, I did include my Venmo in the comments box if you'd like to make a donation. But thank you again, Sagittarius, and have a wonderful April.